This is a video for part number 9 in isometric. As you can see, we have a disc cylinder up here, a little bit of a cube sitting in here that's inset, and then this jumps back out to a larger cube, and then a smaller cube here with a hole. Now, we're going to approach this from a standpoint of getting rid of this arc, just to make it easier for us to get this, and to learn how to do it. We're going to make sure we can see a little piece of this. We're going to start at the top, work our way down. I've got it sitting in a little vise so it can steady it for us. So here we go. So I'm going to start at the top. So down here on my paper, I'm going to start again, scale and proportion, my 90-degree angle. I'm going to draw this really light. I'm going to start with a little thin cube, because remember in part number 4 when we drew our cylinder, like there's a cylinder here, we started with a cube. And the reason we're doing this is it's going to help us establish where that little cube is on the bottom. So there's a little cube right in the middle. It allows us to establish that. So I'm going to draw my first circle up here in the very top, just like we did with part 4. I'm going to get that kind of nailed down and darken that in so we can see it. I know I've got to come down, and I know I've got another arc here in the bottom. So now we can see that. I'm going to darken that in, just like we did in part number 4. So now we have a new cylinder. We want to see a little bit of this cube, so it's going to stick down just a tiny little bit. I'm going to draw that in so you can see this cube. I'm just not drawing all the lines, just to save myself some erasing. But now we can see that little piece of cube. So what we have now is we have this cylinder and that little cube that sits down here. Next, we're going to add to that this larger surface here, which sticks out a little bit. So to do that, we're going to remain parallel with this. We're just going to come out a little ways. And I'm thinking of keeping that same distance back here, and thinking about keeping that same distance up front, and then along the left side. So now you can see that that little cube sits in the center of a larger square. Once that's done, it's just going to continue down. I'm thinking scale and proportions, so it's almost a perfect little cube there. So we're going to draw this in real quick. So now we have this piece, little cube, sitting underneath that cylinder, and then below it what cube we just drew. And as we can see, we have our cylinder, our little piece of cube that's hiding out in here, and then our larger cube here. Don't forget about our hole that we have here, little square hole. So we're going to draw that in real quick. And don't forget to give it a depth, because you can see that little corner in there. We can see that, a little shadow. Once we have that, centered on this cube at the bottom is that little square part. So you can see this is centered under that. So if I come back here, I'm going to draw a square inside of that square. I'm going to extend that down because I'm going to see it. Get my Y. Remember, that's going to be an inverted Y because it's the bottom of our isometric. Now, if I start darkening some things in, so you can see we have that. Start darkening some things in, I would spend a little time. But again, I can't do that because I'm using both hands. I would spend some time erasing. But as you can see, we have our cylinder, little square hiding out underneath right there. So we have our little cube hiding out underneath. We have a larger cube here, and a larger cube here with our hole. And then we have our larger cube sticking down here. I hope that helps. And again, as you look at this, rewind and watch again. Good luck.